Assalamu alaikum ji. Welcome back to an episode of Kiya, Kazi. My guest today was Asteria. Asteria is a singer, songwriter, music producer, guitarist, drummer, bassist, pianist. We get to speaking about the possibility that she might be a musical prodigy, about growing up with resentment to Pakistan, to Karachi, about going abroad, realizing that the resentment really was anchored deep within her own traumas, about shattering conventions, about communicating through music and not necessarily through the language in which the lyrics are, and about rediscovering home. Enjoy. Three, two, one. Asteria, how you doing?
I am doing great. I love the space that you have created.
What? You're going to start off with a compliment?
Why not? Why do you look so shocked? What have you been through?
बहुत ज़्यादा pressure हो गया अब क्या करें अब कैसे करें? Anyways, how was you said you were coming over from an iftar?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was fine.
Yeah?
It was chill, like kind of more like obligation. Like I had to
Oh,
go there to show face and then
Fair enough. Family kind of thing.
bit of work kind of thing.
Oh, bit of work. Okay, all right, fair enough. So we will obviously not at all talk about the fact that we have coordinated outfits. You're white, I'm black. This will not be spoken about at all.
Yin and yang.
Yin and yang. We were talking about what the right age to start music is. What do you think the right age to start music is?
My simple answer is none.
None.
Absolutely none.
When did you start?
I started when I was 15.
That at 15 you started. Were you good at 15?
I got, okay, so because I was so into it, I got pretty good pretty quickly because I was so like obsessively, like something just drew me so obsessively into it. And like I felt like it came to me so naturally that I got pretty good pretty fast. So like in a few months I was like playing like, you know, all these like difficult guitar solos and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, started off with guitar. So I feel like it came to me really easily. Like, you know, almost like when you're meant to do something, it's like, okay, the universe is like, yeah.
Jao.
Go ahead. This is going to be easy for you.
Do your thing.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. But being good is one thing, right? Sounding good is one thing. When did you decide, or when did it occur to you, कि यार ये काम जो है, I could just do this with my life? Because this is much later now. We're not going to discuss your age.
Yeah.
But this is quite a bit later than 15. And you are now pursuing this full time. There's some music on the way. There's some music out there already. You know, you're making waves, alhamdulillah. So when did it occur to you that yaar, this could be done in a place like Pakistan?
In a place, okay, so there are two questions you've asked me. Then I'm going to take them as two separate
Let
ones.
me add one more from the family that you're coming from.
Okay. So I'll break this down. Still two questions for me. Number one, which is, when did you decide to do this? And then when did you decide to do this in Pakistan? Okay, so when did I decide to do this? I was saying this to you kind of like before we started the podcast. And that was, it was this really, really weird moment for me where I watched this video of Jimmy Page playing guitar online. And something just clicked intuitively. And I was like, mujhe yehi karna hai. Sorry. At that very, very moment. Before it started playing, I was like, mujhe yehi karna hai.
Before you started playing?
Yeah.
Was Jimmy Page playing in front of a crowd?
He was playing in front of a crowd.
So the whole scene is what you were like, ooh.
Yeah, there was just something like this aura exuding from it. Like he seemed so happy. He seemed like he transcended. Like he seemed like he was no longer a human being. And I was just like, I want to reach that emotional state. Like, you know, and it looks like he's just having the time of his life. And he gets through that every single day. This is what he bleeds for. This is what he lives for. So I was just like, yaar, yehi karna hai. And I was just like, don't question it. And I don't even think I realized how significant that thought was until many years later. Because, you know, there have been ideas or things in my life which I've started and I'm like, yeah, I'll do this for a long time, but it doesn't stick. But luckily that one stuck. So that made me really happy.
And so the thought was you want to do it for as long as you can.
I was just like, I didn't think that far, like, you know, I'll do this for the next 20, 30 years. I was just like, main yehi karungi forever. This is my thing. This is my thing forever.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. That's powerful. That is, you know, because there was no concept of a how. There was just a why.
Exactly.
Yehi karna hai. बस होता रहेगा जिस भी तरीके से.
I was just like, why can't I?
Sure. Why can't you?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why when you said coming from like a Pakistani family who, you know, as I was saying to you, most of the people in my family have worked very traditional jobs, like, you know, lawyer, working in business, even like, you know, generations above, lawyers, that kind of thing, like, you know, very conventional jobs. I'm just like, koi baat nahi, main kar lungi. So it was just like, yeah. I was like, cool, maan lenge.
Yeah.
So it was a funny moment for me. But then you asked me another question, which is, when did you decide to do this in Pakistan?
Sure.
And the answer was about 6 months ago. Yeah.
Well, that's very recent.
Really recent.
Yeah.
So I've actually, I've been online and like, you know, putting myself out there as Asteria for a year.
Okay.
It's been 1 year.
Okay.
And I had this idea that, you know, yaar, shayad Pakistan mein nahi ho sakta hai, the genre I'm doing, the kind of experiences I want to have. Maybe I'll have them abroad. I actually went abroad and I was in a band in the UK for 3 years.
For 3 years?
Yeah, throughout my university life.
Okay, wait. मैं फिर से, okay. So where did you did O-levels?
Yeah, O-levels, A-levels, Pakistan.
कहाँ से किया O-levels, A-levels?
Yeah, KGS.
Oh, right. I could have told you that.
Yeah.
And then you went abroad. Where did you go abroad to study?
London, King's College London.
So are you a smart person? King's College is a really good school.
I mean, if that's how you want to measure it, sure.
It is. What do you mean measure it, dude? Everyone doesn't get into King's College.
Oh, ye bhi baat hai.
What did you go to school for?
I did physics.
क्या हो रहा है मेरे साथ? Physics.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, I did physics.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That's very difficult.
Yeah, it is.
What made you, so if you had decided at 15 that you were going to do music, what made you do physics?
I also loved physics.
Right.
Like, I just found, you know, the way that, for example, quantum mechanics, it's like such a beautiful subject. It literally tells you how reality is not as it seems on the surface.
Sure.
And that excited me so much. I'm like, you know, this boring ass 3D world we live in, where we think there's like a cause and effect. None of that's true. And it's like, you know, you go to this quantum level and you find out these crazy things which sound like they're made up from some crazy person's head, and it's like, okay, no, this is reality. And that just electrified me.
Quantum determinism is what you're talking about. That's very cool. Very interesting. Okay. And so so you were doing physics in the morning and then you were playing in a band.
Yeah.
In the evenings.
Yeah, pretty much.
How was that experience, you said?
It was good. But if I'm honest, something wasn't clicking while I was there. Like, I can't explain why it didn't work out. You know, I was doing the physics. I was learning the things that I thought I'd wanted to learn for so long. I was playing with the bandmates who were exactly how I'd visualized in my head.
Okay.
But like something felt like it was missing. And then it was like, you know, there was something deep inside which I didn't have a name for. And it was not being fulfilled. I still felt a little bit empty. It was so weird.
How far back was this? Now, ye jo feeling aapko pehli baar aayi?
So when I kind of went to uni, I was like, okay, you know, this is it. This is the start of the life.
This is the life, dude.
This is the life.
This is the life. This is what I worked for.
Yeah. And then the things in my head that I'd like materialized, like the kind of friends I wanted, the kind of bandmates I wanted, the kind of thing I wanted to be studying, the kind of life I wanted to be living, I was living it. But it just wasn't feeling right. It was, I can't explain it. It was like, you know, like an over-identification with what was there on the external. Like I was like, okay, I like all these things, but there was nothing inside me. There was no like grounding. There was no, like, it was like, I liked the idea of these things. I liked how they looked on the outside, but andar kya hai? You know what I mean?
Very interesting. Sure. And at not a very old age, you were thinking about all this. Were you always intuitive like that? Did you always overthink? Oh, not overthink, but did you always think on a deeper level like this at a younger age?
I think, yeah, it did come naturally to me. For a long time, I repressed it because I'm like, yaar, ye kya bakwas hai?
ये तो बकवास है.
Ye kya bakwas hai?
जिंदगी नहीं जीऊंगी मैं.
Yeah.
Am I an old person?
Yeah. And I was like, ye kya bakwas hai? The world doesn't work like this. You know, like, this is not how it works. Like, this doesn't make sense because, you know, from that scientific brain, I was just like, where is the logic in this? So I shut that part off myself.
Okay.
But then, basically 2020, like everyone who was in that, you know, at that era, I had to come back because of COVID. And things in my band weren't working out that well, like
What position were you playing?
lead guitarist.
Spoken like a true person who has no idea of bands. Position कौन सी खेल रही थी आप? मैं forward. Striker खेल रही थी मैं. हाँ. So yeah, lead guitarist, and then lead guitarist also gets to have a mic and do some vocals.
I did backing vocals, but I've kind of got this feeling like I'm just the guitarist in the band. And, I would write the songs and I was happy about that. Like, most of the song structures came from me and like a lot of the lyrics and stuff came from me, but I had never tried singing then.
Why?
Because I was just like, mujhe guitarist banna hai, mujhe wo Jimmy Page style banna hai, It was like a little block in my head then.
Sure, okay.
I was like, I wasn't interested in it at the time.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, cool, I like the guitar. I'm cool with the guitar.
There was they weren't stopping you, the band.
I mean, they weren't stopping me, but after a certain point, I think towards the end, egos got in play. Like, someone...
ये सब पाकिस्तानी थे?
नहीं, गोरे.
अरे कैसी बात कर रही हैं आप?
यार,
गोरों को तो मसले नहीं होते. गोरों को ईगोस थोड़ी होते, सिर्फ पाकिस्तानियों को होते हैं. नहीं ऐसा नहीं है. मैं चेक करके आई हूँ, उनको भी होते.
Lived it. Goras can be assholes. This is your public service announcement.
Sure, fair enough. Yeah. That was really cheesy. It was almost like a dad joke. I don't know why I have to do this anymore. I still do it sometimes.
It's okay. If it feels right, just do it.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Jo hona hai ho jayega.
So towards the end, egos got involved. Corona hits. You come back. And then what? And then
I was like, okay, I'll come back in a few months. I'll find a way. And that was the plan. I was like, I'll come back. I'll do this. I'll get back to you guys. And they were even like, yeah. But then I remember there was one day where because we weren't there physically, we couldn't play shows. We couldn't create music together. I was like, let's keep an active social media presence and stuff. But then I remember one day, I remember the final straw where I asked one of my bandmates, I was like, yeah, send me this video part. I'll edit it. I'll do whatever. Just send it to me. And the guy, 1.5 months later, I messaged him. I'm like, yo, you never sent me that video bit. And he's like, I am busy. I am with my grandparents in the countryside. And I'm just like, yaar,
ye to nahi ho raha.
How are you going to be, how are you saying that you love this full time and this is what you're doing? Now, if he sees this, I'm really sorry, but I had to be honest.
No, we're not batamizi. Humne batamizi to nahi kar rahe.
Yeah.
We're not being mean.
Yeah.
It's just the truth. No?
It's the truth. And at that point, I was like, I'm done with these guys.
Okay.
And then I was just like, I had also had that feeling, just being a guitarist, maybe it's not enough for me. Okay. And then I'd started listening to Tame Impala, and you know how his model works. So
I don't.
Okay. The whole of Tame Impala is one guy.
Okay.
And he writes it, produces it, records it. I think he mixes it as well himself.
That's happening more and more now.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Productions just become this thing, and people like you come about and they can just do all of it. And it's ridiculous. It really is maddening कि ये आप लोग सब कैसे कर सकते हो. These were बहुत सारे लोग these were a lot of different jobs. There were specializations. Mm-hmm. All of them. Sorry, you got into Tame Impala and.
Yeah, you go on, but it's fine.
I'm just thinking it's crazy.
Yeah. So I was like, what if I tried to do something like that, where I became the whole deal? Then no one can come in and tell me that they're with their grandparents, so they can't do...
Goddamn countryside.
Yeah, in the goddamn fucking countryside. I'm like, let me do this, the countryside. Yeah. So I was like, let me just do this all myself. And by the way, at that point, I'd never sung properly.
Okay.
I had never opened I'd never produced anything. I'd never opened a DAW, digital audio workspace.
No producing
in my life.
Suite, nothing.
Nothing.
Okay.
And I was just like, koi baat nahi, main seekh lungi.
Dude, that's a powerful attitude to have, I think.
Yeah.
I think, how old were you when you decided this?
I was I 22? Yeah, 21, 20.
Okay.
21.
Okay. I think so, someone who maybe isn't as optimistic as me would say something like, yaar, maybe you're being brash or brazen, or a little arrogant, let's just say. But I really think that's the way to go about things that you're going to pursue full time.
Yeah.
यार होने वाला काम है ना, हो जाएगा, लोग करते हैं ना, तो मैं भी कर लूँगा, कर लूँगी.
Yeah.
So sure. And so you decide, you're like, bus, and then now maybe I'll also start singing.
Yeah.
What comes first, the singing or मैं produce भी खुद ही करूँगी?
Okay, so I didn't have any of the tools done left to produce. So I was like, kind of went on this little mission to procure everything. I was like, okay, then, so I started taking vocal lessons. And then at the same time, I started looking up, like, you know what? So it all went like kind of side by side. So I was like, okay, you know, what's the bare minimum I could do it with? Could I do it in my room? I don't have a lot of money like that I want to put in on this, you know, because I'm just not willing to like, you know, build a massive studio and soundproof the whole thing. It doesn't make sense. It feels like it's self-indulgent, you know?
Sure.
So I was just like, you know, how do I get these? So I was like, okay, I can get like a little interface. I bought myself a mic. I was really, really lucky. My like 4 or 5 of my closest friends on my birthday, they pitched together and they bought me studio monitors.
Oh, wow. Okay. So studio monitors are like speakers.
Yeah, speakers.
Yeah.
So then I got, so piece by piece, the whole thing came together.
What mic did you get first?
I got a Rode NT1A condenser.
Huh? Very basic, huh?
Yeah, I still use that.
Still do?
Yeah.
Okay, wait. So who are you getting lessons from?
Singing?
Are you allowed to say?
Yeah. His name is Abdullah Haroon. Amazing guy.
Abdullah Haroon?
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard that name.
Yeah. He's just...
Is he famous?
I mean, I think he's well known for what he does, but I don't think he's not famous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Abdullah Haroon, okay, I want to learn how to sing.
Dude, he's so chill, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, he's an incredible teacher. He's so patient. He'll teach you any style that you like. So he's not like, you know, one of those ustads who's like, you have to do this this way. He's like, nah.
Harmonium wala.
Harmonium lata hai.
Late hai?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's so cool.
But it's like, if you want to go down the eastern route, he'll take you down there. If you want to go down a different route, he'll be like, yeah, sure, we'll figure this out together.
Yeah.
So he's really...
And he comes over to your place?
Yeah, or you can go over to his whatever.
So you come back from King's College. You've studied your whole life at KGS. You come back from King's College, all these prestigious institutes. KGS ko jo bhi bolo, prestigious to hai na. And so your family's like, okay, she's doing well. You come back, you're like, मुझे एक उस्ताद लगा के दो और मैं स्टूडियो बना रही हूँ अपने कमरे में.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
very
much.
good.
So
how did they react?
So I kind of like, I've gotten very good over the years at easing them into it.
Okay.
So I was like, you know, yeah, I'm doing this thing and like, you know, I'll do a job, but I'm also doing this thing on the side. And then eventually I'll be like, yeah, job say, I don't really like my job anymore. So, you know, I might just do this full time for a little while. And then I'll be like, okay, and then this is happening. And then, okay, that happened. And then eventually it's like they're just slowly being pushed. It's like slow pushes.
Well, I think alhamdulillah for the privilege to be able to do that and you know, to push it, and also for them aakhir mein to accept kiya no.
Yeah.
So you know, much gratitude to them obviously. But yeah, so you build your studio together piece by piece. What happens then?
What happens then? Then in essence I started, you know, working on the songs and learning how to mix and stuff. Just did it off YouTube.
What were you gonna sing about? Did you know that?
Yeah. I'd been writing songs since I've been like 16.
What?
Yeah.
So you were also writing songs for the band.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the general subject matter of the songs?
Whatever feels right, you know? No set thing. Like if I want to sing about love, I'll sing about love. If I want to sing about sadness, I'll sing about sadness. Just whatever comes to me in that moment. Like there's no fixed ke ye hone wala. It's just about having, as long as there's a strong emotion that is being channeled, I know I'm on the right path. Then nothing is off limits. It can be anything.
Interesting. Anger? Do you play with that?
Yeah. I used to play with it a lot more when I was angrier, when I was younger.
Okay.
But I'm much less angry now.
Okay.
Yeah. So you won't really hear me like writing a diss track or something.
Okay, whatever.
Don't feel the need to.
It's fine, whatever.
I don't know. But
I'm not upset. I mean, I would have ek aad to.
Yeah.
Chalo, koi baat nahi. But no, good. Very powerful. What is your writing process like?
Oh, this is interesting.
Okay.
Because it's not like, it's never like I sit down and I write and things come out. It had been that way, but I felt like the things that came out then were forced.
Okay.
So, past 6 months, I never answered your question, Kiya, how I decided to do things in Pakistan. But we'll get there at some point.
At some point. We'll get, if we do, we do. If we don't, we miss it.
Yeah. Then it's just a mystery.
Until you come on next time, inshallah.
Yeah. There you go. But what was your question again?
My question was, what is your writing process like?
Oh, yes. Okay. So, do you know about the flow state?
Sure.
Okay. So, starting October, I remember I had a jam with somebody.
Okay.
And, you know, before that, kind of felt like I couldn't jam. I felt like, the music wasn't flowing to me. I felt like I'd have to think really, really hard about what I would have to play next. I felt like I was stuck. Then in that jam, this person's like to me, you know what? Don't care about how good it sounds. Don't care about how bad it sounds. Stop thinking and just play. Even if one note comes out, come out. Let it come out. And at first I was like, ye kya ho raha hai? Bakwas ho raha hai. And then I found when I was playing these 2-3 notes, these really, really vivid memories of mine were recalled.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, like I went into this trance-like state where I started, while playing the music, like processing this really difficult event in my life that I thought I had gotten over. And I'd forgotten what I was playing, but my hands were still moving. Wow. And then I was just creating music and at the same time processing this trauma or this experience. And then from that day onwards, I was like, and then by the way, after that, when I heard back what I was playing, it was like a lot better than what I usually played. So then I was just like, you know what? This is the way. So now kind of been learning, or more like not learning, but allowing myself to be in that state again, where I let go, I sink into the emotion, or I kind of look at it as channeling. So it's like I sit here, I become a vessel for some kind of message to pass through me. I let go, come into this beautiful trance-like space, which is like blissful. And I'm just like, okay, let the music come. And it comes really rarely. Sometimes it'll come once a month. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it'll come the next day. Sometimes I won't feel that state for ages.
Okay.
But I'm just like, I've just learned that my best music, it can only be written when I'm there. And it's just so beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
That's super powerful. Yeah. And but yeah, I think there's so much there to be said about channeling that state, but the need to engage in some kind of strenuous physical activity. Because playing the guitar isn't easy. You've done it for so long where you're like, say whatever, but still, so you're fatiguing your body, right? And you're going into this rhythm, runner's high, ek aisa scene hota hai, where, like you become at home doing something difficult, right? And that's why for most people, obviously, most people are not gifted guitarists, right? They've never learned how to play an instrument or what have you. But everyone's told to do at least one physical, difficult thing in the day.
Yeah.
Maybe go for a run. Maybe do some push-ups, something of that sort. But I really think one of the paradigms that you're operating on, or at least what you're talking about, is you have to, like for inspiration to come, you have to be there physically, turning off certain inhibitions, just being in the thing.
Absolutely.
Because नहीं तो आप वो वाली बात होती है ना, कार्ल युंग थे हमारे दोस्त. आपने पढ़ा है कभी कार्ल युंग को? अच्छा, कार्ल युंग दोस्त थे हमारे. So the persona and the shadow, right? If you're too strong, and most of us are on the persona, this is how it needs to be, too rigid, conventional, inhibited. What ends up happening is you kind of, you can't attain flow like that.
Yeah.
Because you're so hell-bent on controlling everything. Every gesture, everything, how do I look, how's my guitar or whatever. You need to let the shadow in.
Exactly.
You need to let it just balance itself out.
Yeah.
As it were.
Completely agree. And I feel like in my experience in my life, it's not just, music is just one, music was the first thing which I accessed that state from, but it's like, then it started happening in conversation. Then it started happening when I'm sitting there doing nothing. And then I realized it's really not about the music that I'm making. It's about a state of being. It's about a state of, as you said, allowing that ego to be silenced and being able to be vulnerable enough to sit in the moment, accept the energy of everything that is around you, and be willing to let things unfold in a way that you may not expect.
Sure.
And that's why before this podcast started, I said to you, I really like the fact that you allow things to flow, because this is what I saw when you said that, like you didn't have a plan, you didn't have a structure. You were just like, I want things to flow. So
yeah, dekho, one of the problems I have with the way we are as a people now, we like everything tucked away neatly, good, bad, right, wrong, men, women, what's acceptable, what's unacceptable. I don't think that's how conversations happen.
Yeah.
You know,
I
अगर
agree.
मैं पूरा वक्त ये सोचता रहूँगा कि आपको कोई ये मुझे सोचना चाहिए कि आपको कुछ बुरा नहीं लगे, right?
Yeah.
I should be concerned about, you know, whether I offend you or not, and you should likewise extend that courtesy to me. Having said that, if I am only and overly concerned about what's the point of this and, you know, what are we doing here, then that's not a conversation.
Yeah.
And I think we've lost the ability to have a conversation.
I completely agree.
I sincerely feel this. And that's why I started the podcast. And that's why I am adamant about doing it this way. This is not the smart way to do it. This is not the way to do it to get the most views or any of those things, unfortunately, right? You want to have a catchy title. You want to have a, you know, some scandalous, new, something romanticized, something, you know. You want to have, I don't even make wo jo hote hain na topics. I don't do any of even after the fact. I'm like, no, I mean, if you want to listen to me talk to Asteria, then just click and then talk. Just hear us talk, and you know, all the quirkiness, all the idiosyncrasies will come out.
Yeah.
Because we're two people talking. You know, she's not just a musician, and I'm not just a person doing the podcast. I mean, it's all sorts of things that's happening, na?
I completely agree.
बस यार मैं बहुत agreeable इंसान हूँ. आप बस देखें आप अल्लाह रहम करेगा. Anyhow, so you access this flow state, right? And now you look for it even when writing.
Even what do you mean, like writing music?
Writing music.
Yeah.
So now you look for it.
Now I understand it's the only way.
Only तो फिर अच्छा तो फिर consistency कैसे आएगी गानों में? नहीं है.
I mean, how do I say it? Then that part I'm just like, you know, I leave this to the universe. I'm like, I trust it'll happen again.
Okay.
I trust, and I also at the same time understanding the kind of mechanics that need to come into place to make it happen.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So taking some control of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But not just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little
Just
bit.
enough to nudge yourself in that direction.
Yeah.
How? But the problem with that is now if you're going to do this full time, you need to be making money off this. How then are you planning on making money off it?
So, okay. I don't think these things are in contradiction with one another.
Okay. So let me just again rephrase my question. If you're inconsistent, right, and you consistently need money, and this is the way you're going to get money,
Yeah.
right? So you need to be doing it consistently to get money, right? That's what I was suggesting. Like,
Yeah, no.
There's no contradiction.
Yeah.
So
Tell me. So tell me. So, okay. I love how we're like, yes, this is my, okay. So I feel like because when I am creating, and I've witnessed this, when I create something, 50 pieces in 1 month from using this persona, ego brain, whatever you want to call it, they'll be good. They'll be nice.
Yeah.
But when I create that one piece, which has been created from accessing that state, I can see it's on a different level.
Fair.
It's on a different level. And then it becomes the quality is just so supreme, I mean, relatively speaking, that it's like, okay, I trust that this one piece is going to get me way further than those 50 pieces.
Fair. Okay. And
then, of course, you know, being a musician is not just about like, you know, how many songs you're putting out. It's like, you know, like you have a social media presence, you're doing shows, you're talking to people. So then you kind of extend that flow process, not just to writing songs and, you know, basing everything off making songs, but at least what I found so far is that if you extend that to, you know, speaking to people, if you extend that towards how you approach your social media, if you extend that to just general ideas, it all comes together and you do end up being consistent. It's just your ideas come from a place of inspiration rather than from a place of necessity and lack. And then what comes out is authentic. And then you're excited. And then it's like perpetual mania.
Sure. Perpetual mania. Sure. What's it called? But do you think is it difficult to make money as a musician in Pakistan?
Yes and no. So we were kind of having this conversation off as well. I feel like, hold on, I'm getting a cigarette.
Please, yeah. इसको आप खोल लेना.
Yeah.
But please remember how you're supposed to smoke it.
Don't worry. I was just thinking that.
No other form of holding the cigarette will be accepted. I am sorry.
Okay.
You will be asked repeatedly.
Okay.
ASMR कर दो उसको जो है ना बिल्कुल unpack ही वहाँ पे करो mic के सामने.
Yeah, let's do it right now.
Oh.
I hope you heard that. Cigarette been taken out of the box. अच्छा, ऐसे?
ऐसे तो नहीं कर रहे थे आप ऐसे. It's so funny, dude. You have to. You must. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Requirement.
I was biting the.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's getting a bit primitive in here.
I guess. अच्छा तो इसका क्या सीन होता है? I don't want this to turn into a advertisement for Dunhill Switch, but इसका क्या सीन होता है? So there's a mint thingy.
Yeah.
And you have to like click it.
Yeah, you click it. I don't know the right way to do it. I don't know if you're meant to do it with your like finger. मैं बस काट देती हूँ.
बस ठीक है.
Yeah.
मतलब हाँ. And no, we're not saying you should smoke, and this is being recorded after iftar. For anyone who wants to police us. खैर आप पुलिस करो आपकी मर्जी है. हाँ आप क्या बोल रही थी? Wait, what were we talking about now?
Making money via music.
Making money, yeah.
Okay. So this is kind of my outlook on the music industry, and one of the reasons why I guess as a teenager at that point may have been thinking small at the time, where I felt like things weren't possible, was I feel like our music industry had kind of deteriorated. So on one hand, that meant the stuff that was coming out, it felt predictable and stuff, but what was happening at the same time was there was this great longing that was created in people's hearts.
Sure.
So people would turn to the West for their music, or they would just go back and they'd listen to like the first 3 seasons of Coke Studios, or they'd go back to the music from like 90s and the 2000s, and they'd be like, that was the time.
Yeah.
But that longing was created. So I feel like now with the new artists on the scene, what's happening is people are coming up who are fulfilling that longing that's in people's hearts.
Sure.
Like Hassan Rahim and stuff. He's very different from the people who have been on before, or so many other examples.
Yeah, he's not like anyone else.
Yeah.
He's not like anyone else.
There are a lot of people who are coming on who are trying to be like him.
Yeah.
But he is himself, and I really respect that about him.
Yeah, dekho, even the people trying to be like him, na, I think if you see excellence, imitate it till you find your own voice.
For sure.
I don't see anything wrong with it, but they need to understand this is everything. I mean, I appreciate you doing this so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. So what's it called? But so they should not be admonished at all कि यार आप हसन रहीम कॉपी क्यों बन रहे हैं? बनो कॉपी यार. जब तक आपको अपनी आवाज़ मिल जाए. But please understand, you will never be a better Hasan Rahim than Hasan Rahim.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So as long as you're doing it till you find your own voice, do it, man. Go ham.
Yeah.
Go ham. Try to impress the guy. Who knows? Maybe he'll be like, oh yeah, cool. That's
Yeah,
nice.
this guy sounds like more like me than I do.
Than I do, right?
Yeah.
And that's happened with some people. But yeah, so they shouldn't be admonished for that. But bol rahi thi, there was this great longing, and then people like Hasan Rahim came along, and they're just like,
yeah. And then people flock to that guy like crazy, like
mashallah, yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful to witness.
Yeah.
Like like I feel like people have not loved a musician like him for so long, in Pakistan.
Sure.
Like it's been ages since like someone that, like a presence like that, at least maybe from what I've experienced or what I've seen.
It's him, it's the young stunners, it's these guys.
Yeah, young stunners, of course.
And then the resurgence of Faris Shafi.
Yeah.
That's been very interesting.
Yeah. Obviously not just Hassan, but like, as an example.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Sorry.
No one's going to get upset with you. Yes, mera naam nahi liya.
Yeah, she didn't say young stunners.
She didn't say young stunners because youngsters ko bahut farak pad gaya tha is baat se.
Maybe you never know. They might take a look at this and cry.
Arre. ऐसे नहीं होगा. लेकिन what's it called? But nahi, fair.
And then I feel like just because there was became so much demand for him in a non-existent industry, people started, he started getting these wonderful opportunities. Yeah. And then, the people, there are people who are putting on amazing events who are similar, like Hassan, as in they put on events and they have new perspective, new vision. And those elements kind of come together. So It's like, there's a newness that people are longing for. And if you are putting out that new sound, you can get a lot of opportunity and a lot done through that.
Yes. I also think it's refreshing when I see that you guys are on each other's side. I think that's super important.
Yeah.
I think पुराने ज़माने में मतलब ऐसा होता था कि there was an antagonistic relationship. Everyone
Yeah,
was just,
for sure.
everyone was at each other's throats, just someone's trying to snipe the artist, someone's trying to snipe the event producer.
Yeah.
सारे पैसे आतिफ असलम को मिलेंगे because there's no one bigger than Atif Aslam, या Abda Parveen ji, या Rahat Fateh Ali Khan Saab, which is all good.
Yeah.
Which is all good. But, I see that this new, what's the word? New generation of musicians, and by generation I don't necessarily mean an age thing.
Yeah.
Some are older than others, some are younger, but you guys are all just on each other's side.
Yeah,
and that's super important. That's everything.
Yeah, that's something I actually thought about deeply, and I really love it that everyone, at least most people, I can't actually name anyone
who's not.
Yeah, and it's so beautiful because I remember I've heard stories about, in the early 2000s, some guy, he's like, that like a band comes on, they see the opener is really good, that band goes and is like, goes to the sound guy and is like, let's fuck this guy's audio.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now it's just like everyone is like, let me help you out, and let me, I put your name in here, and I got you through here, and it's just, it makes me really happy.
Dude, that's
it's like
it. That's
abundance.
everything. That's literally everything. And if you're gonna make it, if this industry is gonna make it, it's gonna make it like that.
Yeah.
There's just no other way, because the other method has been tried a few times. The Pakistani music industry is like died and come back to life a few times. एक दो बार तो हुआ है. मैं इतना बड़ा तो मैं हूँ कि 2 बार तो मेरी जिंदगी में हो चुका है. अब बताओ. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a beautiful thing, I think. But again, how's that journey been now, coming from a traditional background where your family is like, okay, just they at least want you to support yourself, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you did speak about pushing it slow, steady, whatever. But now that they hear your stuff, because some of it is proper good.
Thank you.
Mashallah se. Also, we must talk about how you do all of it yourself still. No, you don't send it to anyone. No one mixes and masters it. No one does anything.
So master sometimes I send off, but apart from that, start to finish me.
Start to finish you?
Yeah.
What's the reason?
So I'll be honest, saving money.
Oh, fair.
Yeah.
Sure.
Saving money, and just like, I like doing it myself. I like being able to put in the kind of detail which maybe I can't explain to someone else.
Fair.
Yeah, like I remember when I was in my old band, we had our stuff mixed like by 2-3 people, and they never got it right.
Okay.
And I was just like, yeah. And like, I was like, how can I explain to this guy that at second 26, put this one sound effect and that will bring it to life. Everyone's looking at me as like, yeah, she's wasting our time. But I'm like, that attention to detail, I feel like, is the love you need to give something.
I also think that, exactly. I also think that is the difference between something that is good and something that is great.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't know what's going to hit how. I was recently having this conversation with an editor. वो मेरा काम नहीं edit कर रहा था, but he's just a friend, and so we're having a conversation, and he's like, यार मैं already 3 दिन से ये एक video edit कर रहा हूँ, and I was telling him कि you should probably tweak the grade of this thing a little more, and he's like, यार अब कौन करे इतना? I was like, dude, but this is your work, man. You put this out, you this is the difference between 100,000 views and 500,000 views, and that is unfortunately the metric by which you will judge your work.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, the devil is in the details, and that's a cliche, but you want to be able to put that. But that's that. So saving money in that.
Yeah.
Being able to give it the treatment that you think it deserves. But for that, how much did you have to learn? How much did you have to educate yourself?
I had to learn how to. So I knew how to play drums like pretty decently when I was 15 and stuff. I kind of started learning it in tandem with guitar.
Acha.
Yeah. And then my brother was a bassist, so like I picked up bass like from him, like
Are you a prodigy?
I don't know. I just really love it.
No,
I don't think I'm a
that's
prodigy.
not an excuse, dude. I'm pretty sure. No, it doesn't come that way to everyone. I think you're a prodigy. Okay. If you can pick up 2 instruments like that just because you love them, prodigy ka scene hai.
Okay, I don't know how I feel about that. But
I mean, it's a fact. You don't have to take it.
Okay.
That's what it is. And then, okay, Kiya. And so you knew how to do the bass thing, which is a bass guitar.
Yeah, and then keys I also like kind of knew, so I just
अच्छा
put it together.
नहीं ऐसे हो जाता है यार, कोई कर सकता है ना?
हाँ, I believe it. कि अगर प्यार होता है तो हो जाएगा.
अच्छा.
Yeah.
ठीक है.
Like if you feel like doing it, you can.
Okay. So I did feel like doing it for a large portion of my life. I just didn't have the talent for it.
What do you mean by that?
At 18, I had a keyboard. It just sat in my room. I just couldn't. So I see what you're saying. So I never put in the work that you put in, right? And so you're saying you need to put in the work.
Yeah.
And
in
then,
essence, yeah. So it's like, I'm sure if you had a good enough reason or you wanted, like not saying that, oh, you're lazy, because like, kabhi some things stick, some things don't.
I am lazy though. Like, that's also, so part of people think being a prodigious talent or being a prodigy is this, this abstract thing, and it's only about what's God given and stuff, and it's not something that you can measure.
Yeah.
Not being lazy
is
part of being a prodigy. It's part of the work. Not being consistent with your effort, at least, and picking up those initial skills is part of being a prodigy.
Yeah, I get.
It's part of the intelligence. Because so people are like, you're either smart or you're not. Well, that's a lie, because
Absolutely.
there's 9 dimensions of intelligence. 9, right? We only talk about 2. We talk about IQ, which is your book smarts and all those things, and we talk about EQ, which is emotional.
Yeah.
और emotional का भी हमें पता नहीं है कद्दू के क्या होता है, हम बस बोलते हैं emotional ये रोता ज़्यादा है तो EQ है, right? So there's 7 others.
Really?
Tactile awareness, calisthenic awareness, spatial awareness, आपका olfactory awareness. Some people have a heightened sense of touch or smell. All of that is intelligence.
No way.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's amazing.
Amazing though, but like you might register higher on some of those. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So similarly, being a prodigy has very little to do with actual just, there was no effort involved. The ability to put in effort is a form of intelligence. Smart effort.
Yeah, I agree. But then there's also the element, and I guess maybe this is a kind of intelligence as well, which is how do you make the effort not feel like effort? Because to me, none of these things have felt like effort.
I think that is the key, no?
Yeah.
I think that is the key. I don't know if you can do it for something that you don't feel it. Like, I don't think if you put me in, math class, I think there's very little you could do to actually make me enjoy it because I just don't like math, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's the key, is to find something that you can put this much work into and not make it seem like work.
Yeah.
Like maybe literature for me or writing for me would be something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I'm just like, nahi, ye to mehnat nahi hai na. Or this thing, alhamdulillah, there's months when I'm recording a lot and I'm editing a lot, but they're like, ye kaise? I'm like, ye kaam to nahi hai na.
Yeah, this is
Alhamdulillah.
fun.
Yeah, this is not work.
Yeah, or even right now, it's like what I'm noticing is like you have a really good ability to hold, carry, and lead conversations into new directions. And it's like, but you're not, that comes to you. And that, I don't know if that's something you worked on or not, but that is an intelligence, that is a skill within itself.
I don't know what you're talking about. We will not be complimenting me at all in this conversation. That will not be happening. So you knew, already had some understanding of drums. You were comfortable with the bass. Keys भी आपको आती ही थी.
Yeah.
तो फिर क्या बचा था? What was it that was the missing piece, as it were? Because you could do all those things.
So it was singing.
Okay.
I mean, then I learned that. And then learning how to produce. And then I also feel like it was perhaps on going back into that emotional level, just the feeling that now is the time to do all of this. Before, they were just like skills just sitting in the back of my brain, gathering dust in some corner, which I hadn't used. But then the time came to put them all together. And, I was inspired to put them all together. So I was just like, I want to make a song. And the producing part felt like so much fun to me. Discovering all these synths, discovering this beautiful software, and just learning more about it. It was what I would do in my free time because I enjoyed it. It was sometimes to the point where I would be like, I don't feel like I'm doing this too much. I'm not taking a break. I'm not just sitting down and watching a show. Sometimes it would be I'm not even seeing my friends. I'm just sitting and producing this song.
These are my friends.
These are my friends.
These instruments are my friends.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sure.
That's how it came together.
Fair
pretty
enough.
much.
And what's the first song that you put out under, by yourself?
Okay, so that one's called Dawn.
Okay.
Dawn as in DAW and not Dawn.
मतलब यार क्या ही बात होती है अगर if you would have got the cigarette like that and been like, first one's called Dawn, I was like, yes, I am in 100% now.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. So you know what the city school Daraksha campus is?
I know what the city school is. I don't know what that campus is.
So Daraksha campus is a particularly mela version of the normal city school.
अच्छा.
मेरा O levels वहाँ से था
जबरदस्त.
और मेरा A levels Nixer से था. So Nixer is pretty normal.
Yeah.
But DK वाली जो training है ना, जो streak है वो strong है. So you can always just appeal to me simply by making a Dawn reference. Yet being a little mela, I'm just like, yes, these are my people. I will, yes. That's also an interesting dichotomy, no? Burger versus mela.
Yeah.
You know?
And then the assumptions which lie in.
So many assumptions, right? Like I recently was speaking to someone and there's a certain weakness associated to burgers. You know, like just because if you speak the way you do or even the way I do, there is somehow a characteristic weakness.
Yeah.
Like there is pehli baat to a moral flaw कि हम शायद maybe we're not as good people as people who aren't burgers, and also there is a weakness.
Fully.
Like mummy daddy hain, kamzor hain, you know,
they can't do anything on their own.
Can't do anything, and they have this lack of skill. That was always super interesting to me. कि यार ये, but that's such a stretch. पहली बात just to decide कि एक बंदा is a certain thing.
Yeah.
Is in itself like, I mean, come on, how does that make sense? Chalo. But then to also decide कि, you know, inherently there is some kind of weakness or immorality in this person. You know, I just never got that.
I understand completely. And I remember at one point I was seeing this guy and he said to me, you know, I'll be very honest with you. You know, we were having candid conversations about assumptions and stuff. He wasn't saying this in a mean way. He was just being honest with me. He was like to me, I made this assumption that because of the way you speak, the way you are, that you're not an open person, that you're someone who won't be open to having conversations with different types of people or interacting with people who are, say, non-burger. And that's another assumption that's really interesting.
Now,
yeah.
not only do we have to be Sindhi and Urdu speaking and all, we also have to be burger and non-burger.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Man, against assumptions and judgments, you just can't win.
You can't. You
Yeah.
actually can't. The other person has to put their guards down.
Yeah.
There's no, I mean, I suppose you could show them that you're just like them, that you're a person just like them, and you can become cognizant of your privilege. But उसके अलावा आप क्या करोगे? कुछ नहीं करोगे. If they've decided that you are a certain thing, then you're a certain thing. क्या कर लोगे?
Absolutely, yeah. And like to a certain extent, like I guess stereotypes do come from somewhere. Like, you know, if someone's saying like, you know, burgers are like this, I have met many burgers who are stereotypically burger, who are...
But they're just, okay. So the thing with that is, they're just sheltered, privileged people.
Yeah.
वो मेले भी हो सकते थे.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they could have spoken anyway. Like you think people like that don't exist in other parts of... So this accent, this is a very, I want to say, urban phenomena. You think there aren't spoiled rich people in rural parts of Pakistan?
Yeah.
They don't sound like this, you know, but they still have all those characteristics, you know, where they're not independent. They can't do anything without their family's help and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So, yeah, वो लोग तो privilege है.
Yeah, absolutely.
और खैर आप तो माशाल्लाह जहाँ जा रही थी स्कूल आपने तो काफी देखे होंगे.
Yeah, for sure.
That's throwing shade because why not? I never applied to grammar school. I'm pretty sure I would have never gotten in. I had 1 A in my O levels. What did you have in your O levels?
I think like 4 A stars, 3 A's, something like that.
And your parents
Bs.
must have been disappointed कि यार ये
नहीं,
क्या
वो खुश थे.
नाक कटवा दी.
नहीं.
8 A से क्या होता है?
No. It was like my brother had gotten like 1 or 2. So when I came, they were like, shukar.
He paved the way for you. He's like, परेशान नहीं हो मैं देख लेता हूँ. मैं ख्याल
Yeah.
रखूंगा
He
ये.
had like not good grades. So when I was like, okay, I'm not going to tell them about the people who come with like 10 A stars.
Yeah.
I'm just
10
like,
A stars. Think about that for a second, huh?
fucking hell.
I don't know, man. I don't know how you were doing that. But chalo, and then what did you get in your A levels?
Like couple A's and a B.
You need that much to get into King's
Yeah.
College, है ना? हाँ, सही है. I actually did better in my A levels. I got like, I think 2 or 3 A's and 2 B's. I had 5 subjects.
Acha, you beat me.
बस देखे ना यार.
क्या बोलूं
Hard
मैं?
work and determination and not being a burger is
Yeah.
what my key to success was.
No. At that point, the music had taken over. I'm like, this studying thing is like, leave it.
At that point, you're just somewhere with a guitar, just
Yeah.
it's all fine. What's it called? That culture is interesting though, no? मतलब O levels में, if you were, how many tuitions were you going to?
Okay, so I was never a tuition person. So I took Urdu tuition.
Okay.
क्या बोलूं मैं?
Yeah. You're not doing yourself any favors. Chale.
Yeah, and the funny part is, my Urdu became better when I was in my A levels and I went to Lahore and I started hanging out with HSonians. And they would pretty much speak in Urdu and they had this very Lahori way of delivering it. And I was like, yeah, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So like that's where I picked up my Urdu. It was not the tuitions. From the tuitions, I like gratified the muhavras. I went and I memorized the first paragraph of what I'm going to write in the O-level ka khat.
Nice.
You know?
There was a khat.
Yeah.
Who uses a khat anymore, dude? Chalo khair jo bhi hai. Yeah. So you theek hai. And then you picked up most of your Urdu from there. Very interesting.
Yeah. Just last few years. Honestly, even the music nowadays, like when I listen to it, I learn Urdu. Mm-hmm. You know, like sometimes I'm like, what's he saying? I don't know that word. So I'll Google it. And I'll be like,
dude,
Acha.
Youngsters are big on that, huh?
Yeah.
When they start singing about harif and I'm like, what is a harif, dude? What's going on here? Yeah, well, someone was a close friend of mine, Saifullah Jatoi. He was the one who introduced me to my second Youngsters song. First one being Burger Karachi, which I took offense to. Dude. I'm not trying to joke. I took offense to it. But matlab main unse thoda bada hu na. So when I was in A levels, I was about to leave. They had come out with this song. ये क्या बच्चे ये क्या बात करें burger मेले ये क्यों? Even back then I was like, what is this burger मेला? We're all one people. But and then the second song that I heard was Afsane, right? Afsane मैं लिखता नहीं हूँ, right? And then some of it gets really, really intense and heavy, right? And my friend is, let's just say, better versed in Urdu than I am. Right. And so he's just like, he was smoking. He's just like, he has a cigarette in his hand. He's just like, yeah, man. और मैं side में बैठा हूँ. I'm like, how do I break it to him कि मुझे समझ ही नहीं आ रहा कि क्या बोला क्या है यहाँ पे. Super interesting. What language do you sing in?
Angrezi.
Only.
Yeah, man. It's my truth.
Yeah.
It's my language. I think in it. If I write in Urdu, I'll be just doing it because I know it'll get popularity, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard a lot कि start writing in Urdu, otherwise you'll never make it. You know, बहुत सुना है मैंने.
I mean, mainstream के लिए तो ये बात सच है जो आपको बोल रहे हैं वो लोग, unfortunately.
That's how it is so far.
Oh.
Why can't that change?
I don't know. I have no reason why it can't change.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why it can't change, because 98% of the population or 95% of the population of this country does not speak it. And 98% has disdain for this language, English.
Yeah.
Because it's a colonizer's tongue, no?
Mm-hmm.
So even some of the people who speak it don't necessarily, they either want to have better, ये मैं obviously generalize कर रहा हूँ, but they either want to have better English than you, because it's some sort of like, you know, metric, देखो मैं बेहतर हूँ, Asteria से मैं बेहतर बात करता हूँ English. Or they're like, in English they'll be like, I hate the colonizers for giving me this power to express myself. And so it's that, you know?
Yeah.
Versus Urdu just goes over easier with the masses.
But I'm not sure, lyrics are one part of the song, but there's so much else, other stuff that goes into a song.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really believe that underlying music, the things that makes a song a hit, or a song not necessarily a hit but memorable, that makes it last, is just when you infuse it with authenticity, when you infuse it with love, and when you infuse it with like who you are.
Sure.
So I feel like if you can get that across, I strongly and truly believe that perhaps the language won't matter that much. You know, like
interesting. Sure.
There's so many songs, Radiohead, for example. Half the time, I don't know what the fuck Tom York is saying. So half the time, he's bloody moaning into like the mic.
Bhai, aap theek hai?
Yeah, and people listen to Radiohead like crazy.
Like a cult, yeah.
Yeah, like a cult. Like if you say one bad thing about Radiohead, they say you're stupid. You don't understand music.
Full PTI ho jate hain.
Yeah. So it's like if you have a nice melody, you have nice music. Will people be willing? And I agree there needs to be a bridge. I agree there needs to be a way to bridge the way people listen to music right now in Pakistan, because right now they mainly listen to it for the lyrics.
For escape. Hai na?
Yeah. For the lyrics. But it's like, you know, and then of course there needs to be a kind of change that is made culturally, where perhaps you listen to music and you appreciate the music, or you you vibe with whatever you're listening to, and you perhaps don't necessarily need to understand everything that is being said.
That community is growing.
Yeah.
It's getting better. I mean, with people like you that come along, or so masla ye hai ki so far we have I think a loyal audience as far as music is concerned, but not a very literate one. ये again generalization है माजरत के साथ. A lot of people don't know how much goes into a song.
Yeah.
Just for instance, if I come see you live, say you're performing, what's your favorite venue to perform at? Abhi Karachi mein.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay,
It's
okay.
like straight up.
Okay.
I feel like I like them all.
Oh, okay. Well, so for instance, like you have a easy, shotgun gig at District 19, right?
Yeah.
I come. I don't actually know what else going on. I just see you get on stage and then you sing into a mic and I'm like, cool. And I'm thinking that's all there is to it. I don't know all the stuff that's going on with the drums and the sound checks and none of, I have no appreciation for it.
Yeah.
I feel like that community is growing where people do now have appreciation for it.
Yeah. But I also feel like as a musician, it is a responsibility. Even if people don't know that, you still have to captivate them.
It's your responsibility. It's a lot, no?
It is a lot. That's why I feel like it's harder being a musician than it seems, because it's like one way or the other, you got to find a way.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
To communicate.
To communicate to them. You just have to touch. Exactly. And I feel like can I communicate with these people, the masses? Can I communicate with people who perhaps are against English? Can I inspire them? Can I touch something in their hearts, even if I'm not singing in the language that they want me to sing in? Why can't that be possible?
It's possible. It's just a tall order,
Yeah.
compared to someone, say, who's arguably maybe not as gifted or just as gifted as you, who's doing it in Urdu.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but you're here for the challenge. I see.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like,
You're like, मुश्किल है तो क्या हुआ? I can speak. I can what? I can play 6 instruments. I think I'll be fine. What's it called? Who would you like to collaborate with? Who have you collaborated with so far?
nobody.
Nobody. Okay, that's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. But who would you like to collaborate with?
Like to collaborate with. Okay, so I'll say this in 2 ways. People who I'm kind of perhaps already, we're in talks like, haan, shayad ho jayega. And then people who maybe I've never spoken to them about it.
Okay, yeah, do that.
And then I'll also take like a really tall order and be like, haan, bahar ke log se nahi
Abda
karte."
Parveen, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Please come to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So
inshallah.
in terms of people who reached out to me, or like, people who like we've been saying like, haan, hum kuch kar dete hain. So there's, do you know Kami Paul?
Sure.
Yeah. So he's insane drummer.
He's
and I just feel
ridiculous.
like,
He's crazy.
like him and I, we've spoken ke yaar hum music banate hain. I would love to make, music with him.
Okay.
And then there's my friend Hadi Uppal.
Not heard of him.
Yeah. So his music is like very Pakistani pop. His music is mainstream stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, fantastic.
And I think it's cool because it'll be like, I'm so the opposite of that. So it's like what happens when those two worlds collide.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And then there's like Chingiz from Towers.
Yes.
So we've jammed a couple of times. We have an intention at some point, if it feels right, if it feels organic, we will make a song. And I would love to. I love his vibe. So
Dude, I think Towers generally, Chingiz in particular, but Towers generally, what's ridiculous about them is everything they come out with is good.
Yeah.
I don't name a Towers song that you would not dance to if I put it on right now. Doesn't exist.
Yeah. I think they're brilliant.
They're ridiculous.
Yeah.
And also, I asked Chingiz, I was like, yaar, baat suno, what genre do you play in? And you know how Chingiz is, how he talks, he's just like, I think we're synth pop. And I'm just like, oh no, we're soul pop or soul drop or something.
Yeah.
अब मुझे याद भी नहीं है, इतना पुरानी हो गई podcast. It's 60 episodes ago or something. And he's like, soul hop.
Cool.
Soul
Sounds
hop,
cool.
dude. Yeah, man. That's it. I was
Yeah.
like, I love it. Apparently, Bilal and Asher are not okay with that.
Okay, fair
I
enough.
love it though. Soul hop.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever they want to be, man.
Do some soul hop.
Yeah.
Yeah, soul hop. So these are people that you are in conversation with.
Yeah. So let's see how that goes.
Inshallah. And then who would you like to reasonably reach out to and be like, you could do something with them?
So maybe at some so I feel like I like to work with people who have a very different sound than me, just because it's like, what happens when two worlds collide.
Sure.
So at some point, if like, you know, we get on and we meet and like, you know, things go well and I feel like it's organic, then maybe like Talal. Like I like his...
Talal Qureshi?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's very smart as a musician.
I think he's brilliant.
Yeah.
I really do. Yeah.
Then Young Stunners. See, Young Stunners, we
Everyone,
remember
dude.
you.
Dude, who doesn't? Listen, man, I don't know. Show me one person who doesn't want to play with the Young Stunners. Because especially with this last Coke Studio thing, no? There's just so much range.
Yeah.
You know, he starts talking about people going through existential angst and depression. I'm like, Tala Anjum, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What's going on now?
Yeah.
From, you know, it's just ridiculous. MashaAllah. So Young Stunners, of course.
Yeah. And then Faris.
Faris, of course. Who wouldn't, dude?
Yeah.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah, absolutely.
Faris again is ridiculous.
Yeah. And then there are more people, but I feel like I'm missing out. But like, there are more in my head.
Sure. Maybe later we'll come to it. We were then started this conversation with when and why you decided to do it in Pakistan. ठीक है, वहाँ से बैंड छोड़ के आ गए. ठीक है, यहाँ पे ये सारा म्यूजिक बनाना सीख लिया. But just doing it here full time. You know, coming out as Asteria and just doing it. How is that coming out?
Yeah, I was just like, I laughed. Like you phrased it like it was like, yeah.
ऐसा नहीं है. मतलब ऐसा तो नहीं है ये. लेकिन चल जैसा भी है. What informed that decision? Why did it take so long? Like only 6 months ago? You've been here for a while?
I've been here for a while. I moved back 2020. So,
2 साल हो गए?
Yeah. So, I kind of... So, I never felt really connected to Pakistan before. You know, I felt more resentment. I felt... You know, I was jaded, I'll be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt like there was, you know, no hope people here. Yeah, you know, maybe they'll listen, maybe they're not. They're not my audience. I don't feel anything with them.
Okay.
But then starting October, around the time I had that similar experience, you know, the one where I was playing music and then I unlocked that
flow state.
The flow state.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of my perspectives started to shift. I found myself able to connect with people a lot more. I found myself able to understand this place a lot more. I found myself meeting a lot of the musicians and being genuinely really fond of them. Like, I felt like these people are, like, I resonate with them and I felt community with them. And I felt like, you know, I kind of went from being someone who makes music online to actually I feel like knowing people and getting along with them. And then I felt that connect. And then I started to realize and understand that Pakistan is a place where, because of my individual struggles and the way I've grown up, and because of the things that I've seen which this place lacks, this is the place to do it. This is the place to give what I want and create that around in Pakistan. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I felt like I was looking for. And I was going to make another point, but then I forgot.
It's fine. But I think that's super powerful. I think, you know, I think you need your struggles to make sense.
Yeah.
You know, you need there to be a meaning.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to do a thing just to do the thing, right?
Yeah.
If you're just going to make music, there needs to be a greater point.
Yeah.
There needs to be more.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to mean more than
Yeah.
just, I can play the guitar really well and so I'm going to sing and play this music, right? I think that, yeah, dude, that's a good answer.
Mm-hmm.
Solid.
Thanks.
And prodigy to main hu hi.
Yeah.
Stop it. But and so after you made that decision, after you started meeting all these musicians, how what have you learned? How has that been? Just meeting these people, talking to them, other people like yourself who could have gone abroad but didn't.
Yeah. Honestly, I haven't met a single person who I don't think is wonderful.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's me being overly optimistic or...
It is.
Okay, but yeah.
Gee.
Like, obviously, you can tell, you can kind of intuitively pick up when someone wants something from you or when someone's being ingenuine. But from the people I've truly connected with, I feel like, yaar, ye waqai mein achhe log hai. They have their hearts in the right place.
Sure.
And it's just made me really like hopeful and positive. Like, I feel the opposite of jaded now.
That's good.
Yeah.
Inshallah. I think at that young age, you know, when we're all clamoring towards the goal of getting good grades and getting out of here, I think jadedness is almost a prerequisite.
Yeah.
Like you really have to begin to hate this place to work that hard. Listen, A-levels is difficult.
It is.
Getting into a good university is more difficult. You know, it is doubly difficult. I feel like in a way that system needs to have you hate this place. Ki yaar, I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe it was your circle. I don't know what it was, but speak on it. What was making you hate this place?
So
क्योंकि मसले तो अभी तक वही हैं, ख़वातीन के लिए हालात बेहतर नहीं हुए हैं.
Absolutely.
You know?
So I'd say upbringing. So turbulence in my family life.
Okay.
Then when I was in school, KGS people, like, they were super fucking mean. They're super fucking harsh. Like, and some of them are lovely. Most of them are now evolved into amazing people. I'm friends with most of them.
Yeah.
But at the time, you know, they were fucking bullies, basically. Like, a lot of them, you know. And when you're around that environment...
But you were KGS through and through, na?
I was in Baby Academy till 3rd grade.
Oh, they'd never let you live that down?
No, it wasn't anything about that. It was just...
why were they bullying you? Were you not their people?
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't make sense because I feel like as you're a 9th grader and you don't have empathy and you just like pick on what you can. Like,
I guess.
I remember, let me try to remember the instances. Like, I don't know, I just feel like they didn't like my personality.
They didn't like your personality?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I also, I think from a very early age, understood how our society restricts women.
Sure.
And understood how society has a lack of opportunities. Like, you know, if I for example still wanted to be a physicist, I would not be able to go do meaningful research in Pakistan because we have no funding. Yeah.
No.
And at the time, I guess the music industry was like that back then. There were like shit opportunities. If I went and saw a gig, people were sitting on fucking chairs and like looking at the artist like this. Yeah. And I'd be like, you know, what are these guys? Are these guys really enjoying themselves? You know?
Ye lecture sunne aaye.
Yeah. And you know, I just thought it was like, felt like the sense of, yeah, these people here, they don't get me. They don't get what I'm trying to do. They'll never get me, which was my mistake.
Sure. Doom and gloom.
Yeah.
And it's a self-perpetuating cycle. No? Dekho, you can't be too harsh on yourself. But again, I would like to go back to this. We don't give enough importance or we don't pay enough attention to high school bullying and how much it affects someone.
It's fucking traumatic.
It is. And the instances of depression have gone up.
Yeah.
The instances of, you know, suicidal ideations have gone up.
Yeah.
You know, divorce rates are at an all-time high. Where do we wonder all that stuff comes from? Early childhood trauma. So the primary wound, jisko bolte hain. And then B, this stuff, you know, bullying. And some of the bullying that I've not actually spoken to anyone about grammar school, Karachi grammar school bullying, but some of the stuff that I've witnessed from, you know, the various city schools that I was in and Foundation Public School, yahan ki jo hamari guftagu hoti thi, some of it was horrendous.
Yeah.
Some of it, I'm sure, left the person scarred for life.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, the stuff that I went through, I still remember. I still get angry.
Yeah,
I'm like, yo, why was the need for me to go through those things, you know,
absolutely,
as a child? So I don't know if we speak enough about it. You know, you're like, let bygones be bygones. But अच्छी memories भी थी. अच्छी memories तो थी, लेकिन that does not make the other thing all right, you know. Yeah,
because I feel like as human beings, we're extremely socially wired. Like, we need other people. We need love and we need support. Like, personally, the times where I thrive the most is when is because I know there are people around me who love me.
Sure.
And, you know, and you feel that and you experience that. So if you don't have that, what the fuck does it make you? It can break you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely can. Do you remember an instance, like a particular instance where the bullying got, like, what's an example of the kind of bullying that you experienced? So
there was a lot of, like, I couldn't take a fucking, like, right step without someone being like, she's such a fucking whore, oh my God. And you know, that kind of stuff.
Just straight up, what? In the 9th grade? Yeah,
in the fucking 7th grade, people would be like, she's a bitch, she's a whore, she's a slut. You know, she dated that guy. And then, you know, she's such, like, she's so manly, she's so this. Like, you know, all these messages were being thrown at me. Like, people would, by the way, this is the first time I have spoken about this in years. So like, I'm thinking of this on the fly again. Like, I haven't spoken about this for ages, actually.
Oh, yeah, take your time.
Yeah, they'd be like, she's a whore or a bitch. Like, just lots of insults, like,
Yeah.
or
Slurs, yeah.
And I remember at one point, so I had this little carpool system. Like we had three girls would get dropped home.
Okay.
And then someone's mom would come by.
Okay.
And then it was my mom and then someone else's mom and then someone else's mom. So at one point, my friend's mother had gone to, had picked us, the three of us up. And then we went to, like, she was like, okay, I want to stop at this parlor. And then while we were stopping by that parlor, someone in the school saw us get out at the parlor. And he's like, haha, look, her, well, yeah.
We will blur that. Wahab, ये इन नाम blur करना है 3 दफा. इनका नाम Asteria है, दूसरे नाम पता नहीं कौन. Don't know who that is, huh?
Nah, it's chill. But it's like, oh, look at her mom. Like, her mom takes her to these cheap ass fucking parlors. It's like, bro, I can't even go to the fucking parlor without. And it wasn't even my mom, which was the hilarious part. It was my friend's mom. She's like, oh, she goes to these cheap fucking parlors. And that's the kind of thing that was perpetuated constantly.
Dude, that's ridiculous, man. I honestly, that just makes so much more sense that you wanted to get out of here.
Yeah.
Because people are like, oh, poor you. Dude, the worst thing that's ever happened to you is the worst thing that's ever happened to you. People need to understand that. You can't compare someone else's pain with yours. This was horrible for you.
Yeah.
And yeah, no wonder you wanted to leave. Why would you not want to leave?
Yeah.
But that had nothing, you understand, that had nothing to do with Pakistan.
Absolutely.
That had to do with, a place that, again, that's you're meant to thrive in.
Yeah.
That school especially has so much prestige attached to it,
Yep.
Where I'm sure when you got in or whatever, your parents must have been, besides themselves, kya, ye to bahut acha maza aa gaya, achhi baat ho gayi.
Yeah.
And then this is what you're going through. That's ridiculous, man.
Yeah. And
that's shameful.
It's so KGS as a place it promotes a lot of fear. It promotes a lot of fear-based teaching. Like, there are a lot of hierarchies. Once again, there's a lot of judgments that inherently lives in the system of school because they know that they are really good. Okay. They have a good reputation.
Sure, okay.
And it's kind of gone to their heads.
Okay.
So, also another thing, people ask me, why is your Urdu not that good? Yaar, in school, when the teachers come to you and they say, talk in English, don't talk in Urdu.
What are you supposed to do? Yeah. What are you going to do? Yeah.
Or like, so it's just, it's self-perpetuating, these cycles. It's just toxic cycles. And
it is also an impossible situation for someone like you because first you're being told the only route to prominence is to speak in English and to not only speak in English, to be proficient in English, right? All your coursework, everything's going to be done in English. Speak in English, right? Don't speak in Urdu. And so you are enamored by this disdain for that language, right? Which again is not your fault. How is this your fault? It's not your fault.
Yeah.
But the rest of the muashra then hates you for not speaking in Urdu, but like, where are you supposed to go?
Exactly.
What are you supposed to do? To school band karwa do, main kya karu? Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I don't mean that seriously, of course. It's a good school. And I mean, it got you into a great university, I'm sure.
Absolutely. There's obviously stuff I'm really grateful for. And like, I also at the same time do understand where the other side is coming from. And I feel like, it definitely still is a huge privilege, but it's not as pretty as it is painted out to be.
Sure.
That's the crux of what I'm trying to say, I guess.
Fair, very well said.
Yeah.
Very well said. That's good and that's solid. It's something that I'm going to need to process. How much of your anger then or resentment has now dissipated since you've had that experience and you're like, nahi, yahan pe achhe log bhi hote hain and all those things?
I think most of it, man.
Most of it is gone.
I feel really like chill nowadays.
Music therapy.
Yeah, man. And it's just like good people, you meet them, like just someone comes and proves something's wrong, or you just see things in a new light. Obviously it took a while, like when I was in uni, I feel like that's where a lot of my anger got purged, because I was like, okay, I'm going to go and then England is going to be wonderful.
Wonderful England.
Absolutely brilliant.
Brilliant. But then tea and biscuits.
But I'm like, yaar, wahan bhi they're fucking chutiyas.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
100% are. My sentiments exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to sound super racist. So bear with me. All right. So
I'm excited.
I'm excited. Well, the first time I got into the University of Toronto, I got into this coveted writing program, जिसके लिए अंदर आना ही बड़ा मुश्किल होता है. But well, I got in. It's my first philosophy class.
Yeah.
Sure. It's my first philosophy class. And it's philosophy of politics and religion. Right? And I'm excited. एक पूरा lecture hall है.
Yeah.
Right? And this is also how our minds are colonized. Na? So, well, I'm in Canada. I'm in the University of Toronto. I'm in the campus. Huge lecture hall. तकरीबन कोई 400 लोग हैं. It was a second year course. 400 लोग हैं. Filled in to the brink. First class. I'm sitting there, I'm ready, and for whatever reason, I'm ready for a teacher, a philosophy teacher, right? A stereotypical white, big beard, pipe in his hand, top hat, philosophy teacher.
Yeah.
And guess who walks in? A Sikh gentleman, and one of my best professors I've had to date. But and in that moment, I was like, "Yaar, हमारे दिमाग colonized hai." At the age of 23 or whatever, I was not privy to the fact that we can do all of that and still look like us.
Yeah.
Because this dude looked just like me. His name was Gurpreet Ratan.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, dude. And he spoke eloquent English. He had such command. He had 2 PhDs, had such command on the subject matter. And सारे जो गोरे लोग भी बैठे हुए थे, none of them batted an eyelash because it's just normal.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? He's the professor. But to me, for some reason, that was like an epiphany कि यार अच्छा हम इनको भी पढ़ा सकते हैं.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, again, coming from a colonized nation and then also coming from systems where the white individual was superior or was considered superior, it was just unheard of कि ऐसा हो सकता है. But yeah, and so you go there and you realize that it's not quite how you understand it to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Was that important for you? Was that important for you to go out and actually realize
Absolutely.
some of your erstwhile held conventions were not based in any fact?
Absolutely. 110%. That's kind of, because as I said to you, I went and I was like, ye bhi chuti hai. And I was like, hum bhi chuti. I was like, where did we win? And that made me like really sad for a while. I was just like, like the illusion breaks that like the rose tinted glasses come off and like the veil over your eyes is lifted, whatever romantic analogy.
Every other cliche, yes, all of them. Yeah. The apple is bitten, we lose Eden, all of it.
It just went on a tangent right there. I was like, cool.
Just powerful.
Yeah,
dude.
And then, then it got me quite sad, honestly. And then I felt, how do I win? Like, how do you win when everyone is against you? But then you can view it as everyone being against you, or you can view it as otherwise, So it's like also kind of perspective where it's like, we all have the same humanity on the inside.
Fair enough.
And we all desire to be loved, and we all want to be moved, and we all want to feel something, at least unless you're like a psychopath and you don't have an amygdala.
मतलब हाँ वो सही है, वो तो एक और मसला है ना. वो मसले की बात नहीं कर रहे हम अभी.
Yeah. So it's like, do you see the best or do you see the worst? That is your choice.
Sure.
And then it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy because I found when I started, going to seeing like, even the guy who looks like an asshole and you talk to him with love, wo bhi naram ho jata hai.
Sure.
And that's just what got me so excited because it's like, then most people are inherently good, but then most people are also inherently bad. So it's like, it's fun. It's like whatever you want.
Yeah. It's everything. Yeah. Okay, so we're back. I had to go to the bathroom. Dude, I'm just old. My bladder is just not where it used to be. Honestly, it's that. It's nothing else. How did you come up with Asteria, वैसे? Because that's not your name. Dude, it'd be awesome if people are just like, ये इसका नाम Asteria, ये तो है ही burger. And they say it not like Asteria, they're like Asteria.
Yeah.
Asteria नाम है.
Asteria.
Asteria नाम है. Why that name? What's up with that?
Yeah, before you say that, it was actually really funny. Like one time I met this guy, he's like, "Oh, Asteria," because like he had been introduced, like someone had told him about me as Asteria. He's like, "That's your name, right?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, it's my name."
200%.
I was like, "Yeah. You know, my mother, she's Greek actually, so she gave me that name, Asteria." And then he was like, "Acha."
As long as you
nice,
maintain a
cool name."
poker face, dude, confidence is everything. Who's not going to believe you?
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom named me Asteria.
And then he fully bought it, and then 15 minutes later, I'm like,
Why did you break? You robbed him of his dreams. That's on you.
because I was like, I really like this person, I want to be your friend. So I
Oh.
was like, you know,
I mean, why can't you be friends with Asteria?
he can be friends with Asteria,
Yeah,
but
I'm
he shouldn't
down.
be living a lie, you know?
Why not?
Why?
If he's happy in this lie, who's to say it's not his truth?
What if I slip and I'm like, you know,
Hypersubjectivity. What?
what if I slip?
It's on you, dude. Like, see, so essentially, you just didn't want to put in enough work.
I didn't want to put it didn't mean enough to me.
It didn't mean enough to you.
Being
You
a
don't mean enough to her. I'm sorry.
No, my friend means a lot to
हाँ, तो
me.
फिर देख लो.
Yeah.
देख लो. But what's interesting is, so, you know, the podcast called Kya Kahega Kazi. My name is Kazi Akbar, right? So technically my name is Akbar, right? But most people call me Kazi.
Yeah.
So when someone close to me comes by, right, they're like, "Oh, Akbar, kaise ho?" And everyone just freaks out, like, "What?
Who's Akbar?
Who's what?
Is it like
Who are you talking
someone I
about?
can't see in the room?
What? What's going on?" And also, I feel like I respond differently to Akbar than I do to Kazi.
Yeah.
You know? So and that's why I'm asking you, why this name and what does it mean? Do you know?
Yeah.
Asteria.
So Asteria is a Greek goddess. She's hence the whole story about I have a Greek mother.
A
and
Greek
she,
mother tak theek tha, in Greek goddess hai.
Yeah.
What is she the goddess of?
Like nighttime divinations and stars. That kind of stuff.
थोड़ा narcissism लग रहा है मुझे, थोड़ा सा
Yeah.
रद्दी बराबर, थोड़ा सा हस्बे मामूल
हाँ,
जो
बिल्कुल.
होता है.
Yeah,
हस्बे
yeah.
मामूल पता है क्या होता है?
Yaar, why you gotta say this to me?
Husband Mamul is basically what conventions dictate.
Achha,
According to
say.
the norms, it is your garden variety narcissism. Nothing too serious. You don't need to go see a doctor.
Yeah.
Thoda sa.
Just a tinge.
Just a tinge.
I took this
Chulubar.
like personality test last night because I was watching this like YouTube thing about how this forensic psychologist psychoanalyzed someone and diagnosed them with a couple of personality disorders.
Sure.
And I
Just a few.
Yeah, no, this person was batshit crazy.
Okay.
Amber Heard, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting into that. So I was
Yeah.
watching the video of how that unfolded.
why did you feel the need to watch the video of why it unfolded? Did it affect you?
I was curious. Simple. Just
Okay.
that's it. I
Okay.
wanted to see kya hua.
Okay, fair.
Yeah. And it looked also like I liked the way the psychologist was speaking. And I also like have an interest in psychology and stuff. So I was like, let's see how this goes. But yeah. My point being, I took this
Personality test.
personality test. And it's really interesting because it at the end it tells you like what you are likely to have or not have. And it also can detect the validity of whether you are telling the truth while you're answering these questions.
Oh, wow, dude. Yeah.
So it's like, you know, people could, for example, stay like fake having PTSD by saying, yes, I have this symptom, yes, I have this symptom. But this test asks questions in such a way where it manages to filter out whether you're lying or telling the truth.
Oh, super powerful.
Yeah. So my point being, at the end, you were saying, okay, just your conventional narcissism and stuff. So it was really interesting, the results, because it was like, okay, 0% this, 0% this, 0% this, 20% schizophrenia. Yeah. And it said 40% chance of hypomania, which is like a less intense form of mania, but like perpetually continuing. And it's like, and what else did it say?
20% chance that they might have an imaginary friend.
I'm like,
No big deal.
is this happening, this podcast? I don't know.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Am I even real? No, that's something you have to wonder. You know? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and then there was like something like 20% hysteria. Yeah, Asteria, hysteria, haha.
Oh. No, please, come on.
That was really lame.
It's not funny on multiple levels. I want you to be all right, you understand? मैं थोड़ा सा hysteria, थोड़ा
Yeah,
सा कोई मसला नहीं।
hysteria है
हाँ,
अंदर.
बस
Yeah.
थोड़ा सा Asteria.
Yeah.
Alright, so it's the Greek goddess of divinations and nighttime.
Yeah, nighttime divination, stars, that kind of very mystical stuff. So the reason I chose that name was because of a certain image I'd presented myself in my old band. So the other band members of mine were two guys.
Okay.
So like it was a very like mask space, and I felt like even the emotions I was and the kind of vulnerability, I wasn't being very, very vulnerable. I was processing things in very like stereotypically mask way. Like, you know, the way I was putting out my lyrics, they were a bit harder, they were a bit more logical. The way I was writing was more logical.
Structured.
Yeah. And I felt like I'd disowned almost my, like, you know, that very feminine element to myself, that part which kind of flows. So I chose Asteria because it was like, okay, I know I could never have done this in the old band. The guys, it would not have resonated with them, which fair enough, we were a different thing. But I wanted to like reclaim that part of myself, that part that felt very feminine, that part that was like otherworldly, like
holding all those things, you know, like holding space and all those things, like proper feminine.
Yeah, like I see feminine, to me it feels like just flowing, like, you know, allowing, like being in the moment, allowing things to unfold on their own. And like, you know, things like intuition, that kind of thing, I feel like that's feminine, whereas I feel like masculine might be like stereotypically what I associate in my head is like, you know, logic and structure and reason and maybe even initiative, that kind of stuff.
Sure. A story comes to mind. I'll tell it quickly so I don't disrupt your train of thought.
No, take your time. It's cool.
So I have a sister. She is 11 months younger than me. And she's, you know, we've been together through all the schools and everything. And so we would meet most relatives together. There was this person really close to us. She passed away since. उन्होंने सिंधी में ये बोला था. She was like, you, to my sister, she's like, you are a wine. The obstacle is not a problem for you. You will find a way to grow.
Yeah.
Right? You will just, everything. जो आप flowing की बात कर रहे हो ना, it's like you will just grow through it all, the cracks, everything. You don't need a lot of space.
Yeah.
You know, you just need nurturing and love. She looks at me, she's like, you are like a tree. You need to grow all at once. And you need all this space. Imagine that she, in her own wisdom, was speaking about this same femininity and masculinity that you're talking about.
Of course. And I think it's not a question of being a man or a woman or like, you know, someone who is like non-binary. I don't think it's about just trait association with specific words. You could say it's just nomenclature. At the end of the day, it's just
कार्ल युंग ने जैसे लोग तो ये फरमाते थे ना कि दोनों में, हर मर्द में औरत में, दोनों में, हर किसी में होते हैं, दोनों traits होते हैं. It's just about what's dominant.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah. So Asteria now again, kind of mystical, a little magical, a little nighttime, a little free flowing. That's the kind of vibe you're going for.
Yeah, just it's about, like, she is kind of like an alter ego to a certain extent.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Not terrifying at all.
That 20% schizophrenia
no, I know,
thing.
That knowledge does not bring any comfort at all. Well,
it's about like, I guess I would define it as like the divine feminine.
Okay.
Yeah, like, you know, someone who's in control has all of those elements. Like not in control, but is like has those elements set up in a way which benefits her. Like, you know, she's aware of what she's doing. She's loving, she's kind, and she wants to give that to people, and she herself embodies that.
Fair.
So that's kind of the persona that I was going for.
Okay.
That's how it all came to be.
Interesting. And how has the projection been? Like, how have you tried to project that? Because that's a lot. You know, how are you going to bring that point across to people?
Yeah, it's so part of it I feel like unfolds naturally through the music, because, you know, I am her, she is me. I'm not basing this off nothing. Okay. You're looking at me like, why did I call this woman here?
That's not what I'm thinking. I'm like, how do I get her out of here? It's getting terrifying. No, I'm cool. Kidding. I'm joking. Yeah. I'm obviously joking.
No, I didn't know that.
Imagine you did it. You're like, no, chali jati hu.
Yeah.
Gets upset.
Live crying.
No. Allah reham kare. I've cried a few times on the podcast, but वो बहुत heavy podcast हो गई थी.
Yeah.
I think the older I've gotten, the more I've gotten kind of in touch with my vulnerability. When I was younger, when I was your age, I would not cry. Like, as a rule, रोना मुझे आता ही नहीं था.
Yeah.
But at this age, if there's any mention of a child getting hurt or any of those, straight up start bawling. Masla hi nahi hai. Masla kya? Masla hi hai.
I think that's kind of amazing, actually.
Okay.
I think it's wonderful that you have that element to yourself. That
I cry.
yeah, because you are. I hate you. I've known you like 3 hours where I hate you. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I was going for. But like I'm just, I look proper, and it's not like the stoic kind of crying where I'm looking into the distance and
One tear.
one tear just rolls and then abs get through, just goes. No, it's not that. It's like proper, really bad. Or one tear just goes into my beard and it disappears. Aisa nahi hota. It's
Also,
multiple
side
tears.
note, I feel like you're really bad at taking compliments.
There is no need to. Compliments ka scene nahi hai.
Okay, yeah, I see.
हाँ कॉम्प्लीमेंट यार तो क्या है आई एक्चुअली रेड अ हदीस उससे पहले भी खैर कॉम्प्लीमेंट्स के लायक हम तो नहीं हैं लेकिन मतलब हम कोई भी नहीं है लेकिन आई रेड अ हदीस अबाउट बीबी आयशा Rizitana, who was one of the Prophet's wives, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and she lived a life after he was gone also, right? So, and then I'll let people find that hadith themselves. I will not be quoting it because people get really, religion, Pakistan.
Yeah.
But yeah, after that hadith, I was just like, boss, compliments ka scene you off. तब से जो है I am very, at least for myself, किसी और को अगर if someone else needs to hear it, dude, I'm all for compliments, they need to hear it sometimes, but for me,
What if, but I think it's also part of expression, the other person's expression,
I've put people off sometimes, proper, like someone's trying to say something genuinely nice and I'm just like, boss, scene nahi hai ye wala.
Yeah.
Just like, what is wrong with you, man? Shut up. And I'm like, nahi, ye nahi ho sakta.
No, because like I feel like I was saying something to you. I wasn't saying it like, oh, let me make him feel better, let me flatter him. It was just like, matter of fact thing, which I picked up on, which I was just like, let me say it.
nahi.
And then you were just like,
Nahi, boss.
like you're like,
Closing it, imagine.
yeah, like
Ye nahi ho sakta.
like a turtle going back into its
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Nahi. I honestly, I don't know how else to say it because again, the thing is, the way people construe it, people are like, you're full of yourself. But I'm not. I hate myself. So there's not that. But because I don't know if you follow my Instagram, up till very recently, I would post a workout every day. A video of me working out, doing all these movements and stuff. Crazy or not, wo to is subjective. Some people work out like that 3 times a day or 4 times or whatever, right? But I always call it self-hate hour, right? And people are like, you self-hate, nahi, you self-love. I'm like, no, there's nothing loving about this. So yeah, people are like, you're full of yourself. I'm not full of myself at all, but that hadith was really powerful. I'll send it to you. I'll send it to whoever wants to hear it. Super powerful. No, uske baad se I was like, ye compliments casino.
Fair enough. I mean, if I'm not going to be like,
नहीं
change it. नहीं, you must accept my compliments.
हाँ, मैं एक बात बोल रही थी and now you have offended me.
Yeah. Like,
मैं नाराज
you
हूँ.
didn't accept my words.
हाँ,
Now
I am freaking Asteria, मतलब Greek goddess of night time. आप कौन होते हैं मना करने वाले? लेकिन हाँ, like there's been people on the podcast even they'll be like, just let me talk. I'm like, talk about something else. Don't talk about this.
No.
It's whatever. What was I saying? We were talking about something else. Dekho, now you've made me lose my train of thought. The masculine and the feminine.
Yes.
So you made this decision based off the fact that there you were very much governed by masculine energies.
Yeah.
And not saying it's good or bad, but that's just what it was.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was I was completely voluntarily a part of it. It wasn't like these 2 dudes were like, no, you must to be in a band, you gotta be this way.
Yeah.
It was just like that was the vibe I was on then.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. And the question then was, how do you put that across besides your music, right? Because the music is the music, right?
Yeah.
Besides your music, how do you put that across through your social media? Because, social media is big now, especially for musicians.
Yeah.
So because it's a very complicated thing, how do you simplify it to the point where, because we've also mentioned, okay, you're singing in English and to have that communication with your listeners, you want to then at least have this stuff very clear. Ki yaar, iska matlab ye hai.
Yeah, absolutely. So then it's utilizing every tool social media has. Your posts you put up, certain aesthetic, which I've thought about like really deeply. Like down to like the colors, down to how I act, which is evolving. I change my mind on it every few months. Obviously it keeps progressing the way I present myself, maybe the tonality I use in my words, or the stories that I put up. So on social media, simply that. Then there's also when, for example, I go live, like doing a concert. It's the kind of stage presence I bring.
Okay.
So when I get up on stage, first things first is I feel like I have to get up there and I have to throw all my guards and all my vulnerabilities off. I I have to be completely exposed.
Isn't that impossible on a stage, dude?
No, if you think about anything for 1 second, you're fucked.
Yeah.
If you have any thoughts in your head, if you think ye bura ho sakta hai, bura hi hoga.
That's
But
terrifying.
it's so beautiful.
Huh? Acha.
Because I feel like then all you are is just this, you are nothing but your true self. And then so you are nothing but in essence love and light and giving to people. And then when you get up on stage with that energy, which is also what I feel like Asteria embodies, and you just look at someone like that, they respond to you in a different way. They're like there are times where I've been on stage and I look at someone and it feels like I've connected with this person. This person has become my friend, and then I'll go off stage and I'll talk to them and I'll be like, yo, how are you doing? And it's just through that moment of being completely unafraid. And I couldn't do it for ages, but I actually learned how to do that by seeing someone else do it.
Who'd you see?
So it was Adi Noor.
Okay.
Yeah, so I remember.
The District 19 wala gig, na, where you just went off and spoke to people.
No, actually, the moment I witnessed it was we were at Club 432.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was doing like this. So he was doing this like unplugged performance. He invited me and he's like, come play as well and just observe. And because we had been in conversation, he was talking to me about how to perform and stuff. And I was like, I'm not getting it. What do you mean? Like you feel like you're on stage all the time? What do you mean that you get off and you have to be unguarded? Essentially what I'm saying to you. And then I saw him do it and I was like, oh, nothing.
That's what it is.
It's like when you're in that state, nothing can go wrong.
Jeez, dude. That's heavy.
Yeah, it's like nothing can go wrong. Nothing will go wrong. And then it's like you literally have to put blind faith in whatever you want to put blind faith in. And then you get up there and you give yourself fully. And then it's like you can feel the energy off your fingertips. I'm recalling it right now and I can feel it right now. Like this electrifying sensation, which I cannot describe. It's like you're so fucking alive. You're in another world. You literally feel like you're at one with the universe, at one with the people in front of you. It's the best feeling in the universe.
It's everything, huh?
Yeah, it's everything. It's oneness. And it's not like and because when people say that being on stage is like the best feeling, it's not because, there's so many people who are listening to you or because it's so much dopamine. I feel like it's more serotonin. It's love that you're getting and love that you're giving. And then you go up there and, that's how I associate it with Asteria, as like, she's just this being of love who is everyone right now. And that's just what I try to do every time I get up on stage there.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really interesting is it's not like you can do it a little bit.
No, there's no a little bit of it, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like you kind of do it, you kind of don't. It's like you do it completely or you don't do it.
If you're in, you're in, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, it's so interesting because it makes all the difference and you learn it in one go.
You learn it in one go?
Yeah.
You're either a 1 or a 0 then.
Yeah, it's fucking binary. It's like you're either guarded or you're unguarded.
That's super powerful. In a world, in a time where we're constantly teaching each other or trying to teach each other the grays, this is not gray at all, huh? It's black or white.
Yeah, it's black or white.
Oh, you either have it or you don't. Can it be learned?
It can be learned, but I feel like it has to be experienced.
Okay, experienced, but like for instance, me, I would be terrified of going on stage. Mm-hmm. Right? Do you think I could ever do it? Can anyone do it, or you have to be a certain kind of person?
No, anyone can do it.
Anyone can do it, you think?
Because it's mental.
Right.
It's not like a skill you have. Okay. I feel like it's actually innate to all of us. I feel like it's who you are when you forget the world, when you forget everything you've been taught, when your ego is silenced for those 15, 20 minutes that you're on stage. that's what comes out.
But that's ridiculous then, no? Because I mean, people like you who've experienced this constantly, how do you live normal lives then? Because you're just looking for that again, no?
That's why, musicians go crazy.
Right.
That's what happens. That's why I
Right.
feel like it is.
Right. How do you keep that balance though? Because you're still also a normal person who's going to go to a iftar party, going to come to a
Yeah,
podcast, going to go to go do some groceries or whatever.
Yeah.
You go buy a pack of smokes or a Coke Zero or what have you.
Yeah.
How do you keep the balance?
Because, okay, so it's not just something. So then I feel like, one other thing that I was taught, or one other thing that I picked up was, he said to me, I'm on stage all the time.
Jeez, dude, that's too much, man.
And then, so you can tap into that state whenever you want, if you can. So it's like, you pick it up from a conversation with you. Like, for example, right now, in some ways we are there, in some ways we are on stage. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Or if I'm deeply engaged in a practice, or if I'm just, even fucking sitting, looking at a sunset, thinking how beautiful it is. It's the same thing. It's about being unguarded, vulnerable, open. It's about
being present.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. That's just I say things very romantically.
Yeah.
That's a very nice, practical way to say it.
Well, I mean, dekho, so I'm trying to I finished my diploma in psychotherapy. It's not going well, but I'm trying. Right? तो जो है, उसमें जो है ना, most psychotherapeutic approaches will actually say exactly this. They're like, most psychoses will be fixed if you could just bring the person out of the past or the future into the present.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why certain people, जो मैं stage वाली बात की आपसे, मैंने पूछा, why I asked you that, why I asked if you covet it all the time, is because thrill seekers or what have you, people who climb mountains, ride fast cars or bikes or what have you, for those 15, 20 seconds, 5 minutes, whatever, they're in the now.
Yeah.
They're feeling what you're feeling. They're on stage. Nothing else matters except getting that foot placement right,
Yeah.
getting that grip right. Or, maybe, so I did jujitsu for quite a bit when I was in Canada. When I was sparring with someone, nothing else mattered, and the minute something else mattered, I'd lose.
Fuck up.
Yeah, I'd lose. I'd get choked out, or, I'd get my arm broken or something,
Yeah.
I was just there,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is the same state which I was talking about, the flow state which I write my music through.
Jeez.
Everything is the same. You know what I mean? It's like an underlying current that exists everywhere.
How do you not lose your mind, Asteria? How does that? So again, so he said you're on stage all the time.
Yeah. And then I got it. And then obviously I literally don't feel like I'm on stage all the time. Sometimes I'm bored and fucking brushing my teeth, and sometimes I'm pissed off, and obviously sometimes I'm in my head because I'm human and I'm still working on the process. But it's like bliss at hand.
Bliss at hand.
Yeah.
Bliss at hand.
Yeah.
Very good.
And it's cool because it's abundant, and it just makes you feel so radiant, and it's yeah, you know what? Life is beautiful.
Does that have anything to do with the fact that, you might be young right now or good looking right now? Does that have anything to do with your outwardly appearance?
So I'll say this in two ways.
Okay.
I have things going for me, the
Yes.
stuff you said right now, and then I have things which aren't going for me. For example, being a woman in Pakistan, being in Pakistan, pressures from family, my own past childhood trauma. So everything exists in the same space.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel so I don't know, I'm going to bring up specific stories and stuff of, I remember there was this one guy, he was washing windows at a petrol pump. Obviously he's not well off, he's not doing well at all. But when you looked at that guy, he had the most peaceful, transcendent state of joy and love in his eyes. And when I looked at him and he looked at him, we just smiled at each other. And it was like this pure, like, love between us that was going back and forth. So that guy, he does not have it good in life. He's washing windows. But you can see it in his eyes that he feels beautiful right now. Like, that he's enjoying himself, that he's happy. So I feel like it's almost something that is like our inherent state above circumstances. I feel like the circumstances, yes, they exist, and naturally they do have a strong tendency to influence our state of mind. But it's like beyond that, at our core, maybe who we truly are is just fucking blissful beings.
Beautiful. So then I suppose what you're saying is it doesn't matter what you look like from the outside. You could still make that choice.
Absolutely.
Viktor Frankl said something very similar. Viktor Frankl was a Jew in World War II Germany. He survived 2 Nazi death camps, right? And survived just the heartbreak of losing his spouse to Nazis and everything, right? He said, everything can be taken away from a person except the inviolable choice to respond to a thing the way they see fit.
Yeah.
Everything else can be taken away from you except your choice.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I feel like kind of.
Okay.
Pretty much. It's like, absolutely. I feel like perhaps not choice, because some things you have to experience them, but I guess it's a matter of doing your best. Okay. And not in a way which is like really resistant, which is like, oh, I'm going to wake up today and do my best. And like, you're like, and then everything just like makes it feel worse.
Yeah.
But rather like a letting go.
A letting go. A letting go.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Also so trippy.
Right? This space feels a bit psychedelic right now.
Dude, I am all about the psychedelic. I've never tried psychedelics. I've never done it. I'm all about them. Dude, people talk about it and I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I would consider doing mushrooms at some point in my life.
I think it's worth it. Like,
yeah.
So
being shot into space. just gone. Where's Kazi? He's gone. He's not here.
But nah, so I haven't done mushrooms, but I've done acid a few times.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're good sharing that?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how was that? How was acid?
It's, once again, it's like, I feel like what it does is it gets you to like blissful, joyful, unaltered states of awareness.
Sure.
Like pure bliss, pure joy, just love for everything. In like a really fast way. It's like a shortcut.
And that's why you could get hurt there as well, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then, but it also gets you there.
Yeah,
so it's like, you can experience it like that. Or you can, so it can be good or bad. Like, it can be premature, or it can be like, the tool you needed to get to where you need to be.
Sure.
So it's interesting. Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah, I honestly, but I think there's just so much work that goes into removing those inhibitions consciously.
Yeah.
Some people really do just opt for that. Opt for that little,
Yes, yeah. I get it. It's so hard.
Dude, yeah, life is hard. Life is not easy.
And I feel like, I've said this maybe 4 or 5 times now, that some things need to be experienced. So it's like, you're like, yaar, I don't see a way out. And like, you can't blame that person, because it's like, you can try to think of a way out as hard as you can. But until something moves you that much to make you change your mind, sometimes you just can't.
People forget what hope feels like, man.
Yeah. Man.
People forget what hope feels like.
It's really sad.
And that's super heavy. There's all sorts of people that end up with self-destructive tendencies. And, us who have the privilege of hope, we condescend on them and we're like, if you had religion, if you had faith, dude, that person does not see color, does not see light, does not see a tomorrow, does not see hope. The least you could do is have some freaking respect and not say anything.
Yeah.
That's the least you could do. That person and you are not the same thing.
Because they're in hell right now.
Yo, dude, they absolutely are. आप सोचो ना, like you know, if you just say, iska Coke ka can is red. Imagine this red not seeming red to you. Like seeming less than red. You know, just X or whatever X is, that quality, red minus the beauty, or red minus the vibrance.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even conceive it. What do you mean? Red is red. Kazi, kya baat kar rahe ho? Red is, dude, what if it's not?
Yeah.
You know, it's trippy, or it's some hippie kind of talk, but that's how they feel. Like, if you talk to people who have depression, right? Where does most depression come from? Most depression comes from nihilism or hopelessness.
Hopelessness, yeah.
And if you talk to them, they just, like, when they're in bed, you're like, I'm in bed, they don't see a way out.
Yeah.
Off bed, dude. They don't see a reason to get up.
Absolutely. And you really hit the nail on the head, because I've been someone who struggled with like depressive tendencies on and off over the years.
Oh,
yeah.
no. Okay.
No, sorry, you just said that. Like,
Okay.
look in your eyes really changed.
Oh, no,
like,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. It's cool. But yeah, so hopelessness was the crux of everything. So it's literally as simple as, do you see something? Because it's like, yeah, you know, everyone would be like, you know, get out of bed, take a walk, you know, go see your friends. I'm just like, why? At least that's how I was thinking then.
Sure.
And of course now I see it very differently, like thankfully, very grateful.
Alhamdulillah, yeah.
But it is literally, hopelessness is probably one of the worst things ever.
Dude, it's the worst thing ever, man. It's because the thing is, hope can enable you to fight absolute catastrophes.
Yeah.
As long as you have hope, as long as you're moving towards something, you can go through and you can tank some truly horrendous things.
Yeah.
But if you lose hope, boy, that's not. I mean, that's you lose a lot.
Absolutely.
If you lose hope, you lose a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I don't know if I'm sure there's a more eloquent way of saying it, but
the point stands.
yeah, the point stands. Yeah, I don't know. Hopelessness is a serious thing.
Yeah.
You know, and so you had depressive tendencies. Did you ever go to therapy? Did you get work done? Like,
Yeah.
get work done. That's a weird way of saying that.
Have I got plastic surgery?
Botox करा है आपने अपनी depression के लिए? तो बस तक far. What am I saying? Dude? What am I saying?
It's great.
We need a little bit of comedy right now.
Yeah,
So some
after
comical
that.
relief.
Yeah.
So did you like go to therapy? Did you talk to someone?
I did.
Yeah.
And for a couple of years, but luckily for me, my depressive tendencies didn't last more than a couple of months at the time max.
Yeah.
So even after I got out, I would, talk to her. She would just help me. Hold on.
तंबाकू नोशी चल रही है थोड़ी सी यहाँ पे. जी.
What does that mean?
Nicotine consumption.
I see.
I got you.
Now I'm shameless. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck it means. Tell me.
I think everyone should be shameless. I don't think someone should be shamed for not knowing a language, not knowing cultures, not knowing norms. I think they should be shamed if they are brazen about it, if they don't try to learn. If you ask, what's the shame in that? There's no shame in asking a question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? There's shame in not asking, and there's shame in being apathetic to someone else's plight.
Yeah.
That's shameful, right? यहाँ पे लोग हर फजूल चीज़ के लिए shame करते हैं, actual चीज़ के लिए shame नहीं करते. What if you're willfully ignorant? That's bad.
Yeah.
If you're asking a question, dude, that's awesome. Well, so it didn't last for more than a few.
Yeah. So, but there were still things like, childhood trauma, past relationships, experiences that I'd had, which I needed to work through. Just like, getting those sticks out of my brain.
Childhood trauma you've mentioned a few times now. Would you like to?
Yeah, we can get into it to a certain extent.
Get into it to the extent that you want to. What happened?
So just without pressing on it too much, turbulent upbringing.
Okay.
Yeah. So, so the core feeling was, okay, and at school things weren't great for me as well. At home things weren't great for me as well. So I never really had a space where I was safe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
At times it would be like, in a video game or in a book or like, when I was talking to, sometimes with my brother, like, my brother and I get along fantastically. And so that just kind of, it was just this perpetual environment of, I feel like having nobody on my side.
Hostility. Antagonism. Okay.
Yeah. And not getting encouragement, nurturing, love from anywhere, really. Mainly in my head, with a friend, perhaps, with my brother at times. So that was the crux of it. And not realizing how abnormal that was. Well, I wouldn't say the word abnormal.
You should. That's the word. Yeah. I mean, because देखो, abnormal circumstances don't make you abnormal.
Yeah.
They don't break you, right? But they still do hurt you. They still do damage you. And वही जो आपने text की बात किया, there are still stuff. You still wear those scars. The problem is, right? So let's put it this way: your wound, your primary wound, जो आपको बचपन में मिला था, was it an abandonment wound? Was it a guilt wound? What kind of a wound was it? Did you feel abandoned? Did you feel guilty for something? Did you feel responsible for things that weren't your fault? Maybe.
All of the above.
यार ऐसे थोड़ी होता है. क्या हो गया है?
No.
अल्लाह रहम करे.
It was like, I think it was not knowing what to expect.
Uncertainty. Okay.
Uncertainty. So very negative association with uncertainty.
Just
lack
of safety, right?
Yeah, lack of safety, which leads to, of course, then it leads to fear of abandonment.
Sure.
It leads to all the other things that you listed. So that was like just not knowing what to expect, you know?
Because then that bleeds into the other thing that you said, past relationships. That bleeds into the relationships, right?
It's destroyed some of my relationships.
Yeah, but you're not looking for relationships per se. You're looking for that. You're looking for a safety or an escape from that. And, you know, say what you say. I mean, sure, it's not fair to the other person either. But the thing is, the problem is that you have to figure out what exactly you're looking for. You're not, I mean, it's not, you know, love. Or it's not those things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or it's not even friendship. It's not those things. It's an escape.
Yeah.
You're trying to run away, but there's no running away because this stuff is in your skin.
Yeah.
You know?
I get it. And then processing it is a very interesting thing, because what I found is to process it, it's like you have these, it's almost like you feel it fully. And then the irrationality is kind of when you experience it, when you live it, which is exactly what we try not to do. And when you do it 110%, then it becomes so irrational, it kind of falls away.
Sure.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Yeah. It's like you experience it, you feel it that one last time, and then it's like, okay, cool, done.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Obviously not completely, but.
No, I get it. But I would hold कि थोड़े से तो जो निशान रह जाते हैं ना, होने चाहिए.
Yeah.
थोड़े होने चाहिए, just to remind you where you've come from.
Yeah, it makes you relatable.
Sure. Yeah.
Not a divine Greek goddess.
Sure. Yeah. तभी आप full sleeves पहनती हैं और आप, not saying that you have scars all around. Oh God. Yeah, but you just imagine you came over dressed in all white, just a white mask and everything. I will not be showing my face today because I am Asteria.
Yeah, and you're not worthy.
I'm not worthy of the mukra. Mukra is Punjabi for face. देखें यार, इतनी सही ज़बानें आती हैं मुझे.
Zabardast.
बस देखें. Zabardast. That took a little bit of effort. Zabardast.
नहीं, मैं दिल से बोल रही थी.
नहीं. But saying that word, you would have preferred an English version of it, is what my implication was.
I don't know. I was like,
it's a stretch. It's whatever it is. Asteria, is there anything else that we want to pick up today? You do have to get out of here soon. आपको घर भी जाना है. Okay, that is also a thing. But is there anything, before I do that though, you know, going through all that stuff, all the trauma, was there ever a point when you tried to have a conversation with the people enacting the trauma? Was there, and what was that like? Was that ever easy? Did that ever happen even?
Happened, worked a very few times.
Okay.
But then a lot of the time it was like, accept that they cannot be who they need to be. And that's their own personal hell.
Say.
I
Fair.
truly feel like, okay, to do that, you have to be really like in a fucked up state of mind.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Fair.
So like and you can't, once again, they haven't had the experiences to get them out of it. I feel like experience is the key thing. Like,
and
I'm
stigma
sure.
and no therapy and all those things.
Yeah. Because like once again, I'm sure in their heads they're like, we don't want to be this way. They know कि हम गलत कर रहे हैं. This is not the lives we want to lead, but they just don't see a way. They haven't found the way out, whether they're looking for it or not.
Fair. Fair. Yeah. सही है. Allah रहम करेगा. On that somber note, please give me your Instagram. You're on Instagram, YouTube?
Yeah, Instagram, YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube. Fuck the rest.
Oh, yeah, okay, don't say that. She didn't mean that.
No, the rest is like, yaar, aajkal, do you want to hear my music on Deezer?
TikTok? Oh, shorts. Very nice. Good idea. I'll talk to you about it after the podcast. Okay, so what is it on Instagram? At
Asteria music _ so at ASTERIA_MUSIC_. I say this, like, this sentence is so ingrained in my head because like I'm an RJ as well.
Okay.
So like I at the end of every show I'm like, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to Counterculture with Asteria. You can find me on Instagram. My handle is at Asteria music _ Then I spell it out the exact same way. Or just listen to my songs on Spotify. I go by the name of Asteria. So that's how it is.
That's it?
Yeah,
That's it. Good. Solid. So they won't need me to repeat it. But thank you. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you. I agree.
You agree that you were a lot of fun. I agree I agree that I am awesome.
Yeah. Gotta be this way to be a musician.
MashaAllah. ठीक है. And let's do this again sometime, inshallah.
Absolutely.
ठीक है. Any new music that we should look forward to?
Yes, I have recorded, mixed, mastered, whatever. Full song is ready, and I think it is my best one yet.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah, you heard it.
I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm better than everyone else.
So yeah, just getting the video for that sorted,
Inshallah.
and then it will be.
Oh right, that's what I was going to ask you. So music video as well now?
Music video as well.
Very
now.
exciting.
Yeah.
Who's that with?
So right now I'm doing it with Jan Zeb from KCR, Karachi Community Radio.
I might know him. Yeah.
Yeah. So he does this wonderful work. He's like he's like a tech genius.
Okay.
That's the best way to describe
So,
it.
yeah.
He creates like beautiful virtual live sets. He can produce like amazing shows, like
Wow.
live shows. He's like genuinely like
A genius.
a genius. Fucking
Yeah.
for sure, 110%.
150%. Put a stamp on it.
Yeah.
Genius. Yeah.
That's it with conviction.
Yeah.
So like I spoke to him and he's like, him and I, we've done one or two things together before, like where we get along quite well. So I'm like, yeah, do you want to try making a music video? I don't think he's done it before as well. He's like, haan, kar dete hain. So let's try it.
Kar dete. That's the way you want to hear. You're like, could you do this?
Yeah, why not?
Do it. All right, exciting. Where do we should subscribe to your Instagram, and that's where we'll find it, the video and everything?
Yeah, absolutely. Instagram and then Spotify is just Asteria.
Okay.
So
Spotify is just Asteria. I'll also just send me links. I'll put up the links.
Okay,
Okay?
yeah.
I'll put up the links. Asteria, Kazi. Assalamu alaikum.